It was an ordinary day. Rode my bike down here like I did normally, and just played a couple of games of basketball. And after the second game, I sat down for a sec, and I told somebody to go in for me. And next thing I knew, I just keeled over backwards.
Did you know about 383,000 cardiac arrest emergencies happen out of hospital? About 88% of these emergencies happen at home. Also, many victims appear healthy with no known heart disease or other risk factors. Unfortunately, less than 8% of people who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital will survive. Step 1. Sizing up the scene. Evaluating a possible emergency includes recognizing how many victims there are, if the scene is safe, and what the situation might be. Here is when you would put on gloves or other personal protective equipment you might need. You follow with approaching the victim at their side, tapping their shoulder, and loudly asking if they are okay. If you get no response, make sure to instruct a bystander to call 911. Step 2. Look, listen, and feel. In order to evaluate the condition of a person's state, you must look at their chest to see if it is rising and they are taking breaths, listening at their mouth for any air coming in or going out, and feeling under their jaw for a pulse. This is where you discover exactly what is happening and decide how to properly respond. Step 3. Giving CPR compressions and ventilations. If you find the victim is lacking a heartbeat, you will begin the actual process of CPR. Begin by giving 30 chest compressions about 2 inches deep. Make sure to have one hand flat with your other hand interlocked in your fingers, applying force with the heel of your palm. Follow this process with 2 rescue breaths, making sure their airway is supported and open. Use a mask to provide a barrier between you and any possible transmittable diseases the victim might have. Step 4. The result. Once you have done your job efficiently, hopefully your victim will recover from their state of emergency. At this point, you must remain with the victim, reassuring them and monitoring them until emergency medical services arrive. If the victim still continues to give no response during CPR, continue the process until you are too exhausted, somebody else takes over, the scene becomes unsafe, or EMS arrives. If you happen to responding to a person who is choking on something, there are a few different steps you must take. First of all, because they are conscious, you must ask for consent to help them due to legal purposes. For example, present yourself with, "My name is blank. I'm a lifeguard. May I help you?" Once they hopefully comply, turn them around so that their back is against your chest. With one of your feet, spread their legs apart and put your foot in between so that in case they pass out and fall, you will be able to support them. Next, position your left arm around their body so that your hand is firmly placed on their right shoulder. Your other hand should be holding them up in the back. Lean the victim forward with your left arm still holding them while proceeding with 5 solid back blows between their shoulder blades. Then, raise them back up to a standing position again. Move your arms so that they are wrapped around the victim on both sides with your hands locked together just above their belly button. In this position, perform 5 abdomen thrusts, slightly squeezing them against you. Continue this process until the object blocking the victim's airway becomes dislodged or they go unconscious. If the victim does become unconscious, immediately lower them to the ground on their back and go straight into 30 chest compressions, just like you're doing CPR. Before giving ventilations, though, make sure to clear out the person's mouth in case you were successful at clearing the airway with the compressions. If at any point the victim begins to vomit, promptly turn them on their side, facing away from you, and tuck their free arm under the shoulder of their other arm so that they are secure in the position. Make sure to open the mouth and stick out their tongue to efficiently clear any draining fluids and/or objects.
When we
got to my car, my son asked me, "Do you think he made it?" And I said, I'm afraid he probably didn't. And just after that, a group of guys from the basketball courts came over yelling, "Hey, Doc, he made it. You saved him." And I got out of my car, and I just couldn't